Hi, it's time for another edition of ECHL Week Presents. I'm Barry Schickling. Today's segment, we look at the Newfoundland Growlers, a team that's been at or near the top of the North Division for the entire 22-23 season. And although the Growlers have never finished lower than second place in the North Division and have an all-time playoff series record of 6-1, one of the team's leaders, as well as the head coach, know that the history doesn't matter now. It's the next few months that will decide about the ultimate success of this season.
It was set high the first year, and that's kind of the standard that was set. Fortunately for us, we were able to capture Kelly Cup early on in the inaugural season. But it's never easy to it's hard to win. And like I said, every year we're going to have a little bit of a turnover, but we've been fortunate to have a good core. We know we're going to get a lot of contracted players, but at the end of the day, you still got to play the games. There's a lot of good players in this league, a lot of good teams, and there's always a target on our backs. And it's just getting those younger guys accustomed to the way we want to play, the culture that we have. And I think when you can get them feeling a little bit more comfortable off the ice when they first get there, that turns into success on the ice.
I learned a really good lesson last year about preparing too much in advance because it constantly changes, whether that's your roster, whether it's the weather that you have to deal with or the travel that you have to deal with. So come March and April, most teams, it's just the cycle of how hockey works, will get NCAA players coming to you, as well as junior hockey guys that have either their playoffs have ended or they didn't make the playoffs in the regular season, and all of a sudden you have 4 or 5 extra guys on your team that you've never dealt with before, you don't know who they are, that are all of a sudden wearing your jersey, and you got to coach them.
It's just nice, like I said, to share knowledge, share how the games are going to be, how it's going to tighten up here down the stretch. And nothing's set in stone. I mean, the standings are going to shift a lot here as of late. You see other teams in our division, starting to climb up that aren't in a position yet. It's an exciting time of the year, and it's just making sure everyone's staying focused, not losing too many games in a row, sticking to kind of our game plan and the things that we want to do to be successful that will help us, the rest of the season and hopefully for a long playoff run.
I could play playoffs from day one if we could. From our team perspective, we would like to get through this road trip, and then all of a sudden now you have 25% of the season left, and I think that's a good time to really start focusing on all the little details within the game that you need to make sure that are up to the standard that you need to in order to win in the playoffs. I think it's important because you still have guys going to come into your roster that you don't start preaching too much about all the nuances that you need to do to play a playoff game. I still think it's a little bit early. You want to make sure that you have a solidified roster or a good idea of what your roster is going to be going into the final stretch of the regular season, and you want to make sure that's a good time to really start dialing it in.